His husband only has a few hours to save his wife after she disappears from a gas station. However, he ends up taking on more than he thought and brings down a drug empire. Detective Patterson is in a car beating up another man. He continuously asks him where the woman is. After a thorough beating with Patterson telling the man that he will be imprisoned for life, the man reveals that she is dead. 8 hours earlier, Will is traveling to a remote town alongside his wife Lisa. The two share happy banter, although it's clear that there is some tension between them. Will tells Lisa that she can choose to go anywhere else, including a vacation spot, but Lisa is adamant about going home. Not wanting to part with her soon, Will stops at a petrol station to refuel, while Lisa goes to use the bathroom and buy some purchases. She finds some messages on her phone from Clint, but she ignores them. As Lisa exits the store, a man calls out her name just as a truck stops near the store. Will waits for Lisa, but she does not show up. He goes to the bathroom, but he doesn't find her. He asks the clerk whether he had served her, but the clerk says he hadn't seen Lisa, despite serving her a few minutes ago. Getting anxious, Will looks everywhere, asking the nearby motorists if they've seen her to no avail. He gets worried since the petrol station is also a truck stop. He calls 911 and is directed to Detective Patterson. He reports his missing wife and Patterson promises to be there in a few minutes. Meanwhile, Will decides to drive up to Lisa's parents' house, since it's a few miles away. He hopes that Lisa had decided to walk there. However, he finds that Lisa isn't there. Will has problems with Lisa's parents, and they think that he has done something to her. Will asks them to tell him if Lisa shows up, and then rushes back to the petrol station. Patterson soon shows up and introduces himself. He then asks the clerk whether he saw anything, but the clerk swears he didn't. When asked about his surveillance system, the clerk says that the CCTV system isn't working, and the repair guy keeps canceling. Patterson takes Lisa's phone, and Will decides to stay at the station in case Lisa shows up. After a while, Will looks up and sees the CCTV lights. He goes back to the store and accosts the clerk since he had lied about the CCTV being out of service. After roughing the clerk up, the man gives him the recorder, saying that in the town, it is paramount to mind one's business. Will goes straight to the station and shows Patterson the recorder. They see Lisa being approached by a man, and then the man takes Lisa to his car. Unfortunately, a truck pulls up, and by the time it's gone, Lisa and the man are nowhere to be seen. Patterson sends his men to investigate the man further while he interrogates Will. Will is a wealthy real estate agent. He explains that he and Lisa have been having problems, but they had not fought on the drive. It turns out that Lisa had cheated with a guy called Clint, and she suffers from depressing episodes. Will gets angry at the line of questioning, since Patterson is insinuating that he could have done something to Lisa. He says that while they are wasting time here, Lisa could be 3 states away, and then asks if he is being arrested. Will is visibly worried about Lisa, and he remembers their happier times. Will remembers the conversation he had with Lisa a while back. She had said that she needed space from Will and wanted to spend some time at her parents' house. She felt dissatisfied with her life and didn't know whether she wanted to be in the marriage anymore. Will had worked so hard to be a successful real estate agent. He was always busy, and that may have contributed to the separation Lisa was asking for. Will drives back to Lisa's house and shows her parents a picture of the guy Lisa had been speaking with. The parents confirm that the guy is Knuckles, their handyman. Lisa's mother remembers she had seen Knuckles' car somewhere and gives Will the directions. Will quickly makes his way to the location. He is contacted by Patterson, who wants Will to call him as soon as he finds out something. Will reaches the location and sees Knuckles packing some things. He quickly enters the house and attacks Knuckles, asking him where Lisa is. Knuckles acts oblivious, but Will is adamant, and he starts beating him up viciously with a spike. Knuckles tries to reach for his weapon, but Will is faster and he subdues Knuckles. Knuckles then says that he had left Lisa with Frank. He says that he will take Will to the location. Will ties Knuckles with masking tape and throws him in the trunk of his car. However, Will is pulled over by a police officer for overspending. The officer tells Will to step out of the vehicle and pop open the trunk. Realizing he is about to be caught, Will bolts into the woods. The officer finds Knuckles and calls for backup. Will is fast, and he manages to escape the police officer. After resting, he looks into his phone for the remaining distance to Frank's location. Frank is a meth dealer who lives in the woods. Will soon reaches the location, but is confronted by one of Frank's guards. Will says that he is there to do business with Frank, and he knew him through Knuckles. The guard refuses to let Will in since he wasn't alerted of his coming, and he cannot get Frank through the walkie-talkie. Will explains that his car broke down, but the guard doesn't listen. Will then turns around to leave, telling the guard to explain to Frank why the deal is off. This scares the guard, and he allows Will into the compound. Will sneaks around the place, filled with many people helping Frank cook his drugs. He sees the clerk from the store, Oscar, arriving and confirms his suspicions that Oscar is working with Lisa's kidnappers. He is spotted by a man in a car, but Will quickly beats up the man and steals his rifle. After walking around, he locates Frank and goes into the building where he is. Will encounters several people who try to attack him, but he quickly neutralizes them before they can alert others of his presence. He also encounters a few people who don't mind his presence. Will finally corners Frank in his right hand. He holds them at gunpoint and asks them where Lisa is. The men claim to have no idea of who Lisa is. Will demands that the two open a container where he suspects Lisa is being kept to be smuggled. The men comply but use this as a ploy to get their weapons. A shootout ensues, during which Will eliminates the right hand. He and Frank hide while shooting at each other. In the end, Will successfully executes Frank. He is devastated, since with Frank dead, he has no idea where Lisa might be. As he leaves the building, he doesn't realize that the gunfight had caused a small fire to start spreading. Meanwhile, Patterson learns that Lisa had cheated with a guy called Clint. He visits Lisa's parents to ask them about Clint. It's revealed that Lisa's mother knew of the affair, but Lisa has promised it was a one-time thing. Patterson then asks about Knuckles and learns that he used to study with Lisa when they were kids. He would recognize her from the pictures in the house. Patterson is informed of the accident involving Will, and he quickly drives to the scene. He finds Knuckles, and the scene links up with the opening scene. Knuckles reveals that he recognized Lisa at the petrol station. He knew she was coming back and that she was married to a rich guy. He had told Frank about her with the intention of kidnapping her so he could get ransom money. Knuckles approached Lisa, asking her to take an invoice to her parents. He quickly threatened her to get in the car, holding a knife on her back, and took her to Frank's. Frank was angry since the CCTV at the petrol station captured Knuckles' face, and bringing Lisa there jeopardized his drug business. He ordered Knuckles to dig a hole so he could bury Lisa and fix his mistake. Knuckles knew that he would be killed alongside Lisa, so he ran. He was about to leave town when Will found him. Concurrently, Will finds Oscar and holds him at gunpoint. Oscar explains that he wasn't involved in the kidnapping plan, but he can help Will get Lisa. He shows Will Lisa's phone, saying that he will tell him where Lisa is if he pays him $20,000. While debating, the building behind Oscar explodes, instantly killing him. Patterson gets to the location and finds a heartbroken Will waiting by the cars while the police put out the fire. Will asks if he is in trouble for kidnapping Knuckles, but Patterson asks him to stay put. He then walks to the back of a building and finds a man-sized hole dug up. He removes the covering and is relieved to find it empty. At the same time, Will is drawn to a container he hasn't searched yet. He calls out for Lisa and opens the trailer, finding a scared and bound Lisa inside. Later, Patterson visits Will and tells him that the case is officially closed. He also mentions that he knows some of the thugs didn't perish from the fire, but he is letting that slide. Lisa and Will talk for a moment, with Lisa grateful for everything Will had done to help find her. The two laugh and walk toward Lisa's parents' house.